price my home correctly in 2023 Ottawa Edition. Are you tossing around the idea of selling your home? With most housing markets starting to cool off, pricing your home has to be just right. Go too low and you'll leave money behind. Go too high and buyers will bolt. Well, stick with me because I'm going to share with you 3 things to consider when it comes to pricing your home in 2023 and what you need to do so that you can avoid a very common pitfall that many sellers make. We just experienced a market that we have never experienced before. The market took a shift that no one could have ever predicted. Having 30 to 40 offers on a home over asking prices that had many of us gobsmacked. But where are we today, early 2023? With the crazy market we just experienced, you're no doubt wondering how your home measures up value-wise. Well, there are a number of factors that go into pricing a home correctly. Number 1, look at comparables. This is an absolute when looking to obtain a price range for your home. When looking at solds, look at your specific neighborhood. Having a micro approach to location is paramount in helping you with a price range. While looking at solds gives us a pretty good idea of market area value, it definitely should not be the only thing to look at. We also need to know where homes are at in real time in your neighborhood. So, as a homeowner, it's vital to review currently active listings. Why? Because reviewing listings that are currently on the market in your neighborhood will give us a clear picture of how long they've been on the market for and what you will be directly competing against price-wise. Logically, if that active comparable is asking between $800,000 and $830,000, can you realistically ask the same, especially if that comparable has been on the market longer than 60 days? If your neighbor isn't getting it, then it's likely you will have a hard time convincing a buyer that your home may be worth the same. Again, every property is different, and this is where it's important you compare apples to apples as much as you can. So obtaining active and sold listings is the main approach to getting a realistic idea of what buyers actually paid for the home and where current competition stacks up. Number 2, you've put in over $100,000 in upgrades and you're going to get that back by building it into the listing price. Faulty thinking. Unfortunately, many sellers view real estate this way. I spent this, I did this, and suddenly there's an emotional response which can make convincing a seller with data and facts very, very difficult. For example, as a seller, just because you put in a pool for $50,000 doesn't mean that that pool is worth $50,000 to the buyer. Yes, it's a feature for many, but is it a $50,000 feature? No. The approach to real estate should be that of the buyer's perspective, and this may sting a bit, but it should not be based on the seller's feelings or perspective. Number 3, don't get caught up in sentimental value as a seller. That can be really difficult if you've been living in your home for a while, or maybe you've built your home from the ground up. You've put your heart and your soul into your home. There's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into renovations or your build. But by not letting go of sentimental value or preparing your mind to align with the buyer's value perception and what the market currently shows, can and will have a monetary consequence for you. You have a sentimental value price tag, which is most always more than what the current market is showing, while the buyer has a market value approach. And lastly, one pitfall that every seller needs to avoid, especially now, is thinking that because your neighbor obtained maybe more on the sale of their home, that you can achieve the same. Well, when the real estate market shifts, so does our thinking. So to quickly recap how to price your home in 2023, number 1, have comparable solds and comparable current active listings provided to you. Number 2, understand the difference between the buyer's value perception versus the seller's value perception. And number 3, don't get caught up in sentimental value. As mentioned earlier, there is so much more that goes into pricing a home correctly so that you can attract more buyers to your listing, so that you can stand out amongst the competition. In my next video, I'm going to tell you what not to do when preparing your home for sale. If you have any questions real estate related, please drop me a line. We'll see you next time.